Hey guys, and welcome to this video about Na'Vi on CT Overpass, and more specifically what we're going to be talking about is their calling in terms of distributing players across the map and anticipating their opponent's choices. So before we get into this, we just need to talk quickly about what the standard CT Overpass setup is. So towards the start of the round, the standard thing to do is play 3 towards B and 2 towards A, with those 2 A players starting further up towards birthday or long depending on the setup. And then as they take contact from the T's coming to get map control, they'll fall back towards the site. So the reason it's preferable to play 3 players towards that B site at the start of the round is because there's a couple of early round execute options from the T side which can be really hard to hold against. Having that third player over helps mitigate this risk, and later in the video we'll see some examples of these executes. So first up, we're going to see quite a ballsy call coming out from Na'Vi as they send 4 players towards the B side of the map. So actually in the round before this, they lost the first gun rounds. Coming into this one, they got a bit of a mixed bag by going, but even so they managed to buy into double AWPs here, and I bet a lot that Cloud9 did not expect this to be happening. So Simple, on a good B spawn, goes for this fast pick towards Monster, but unfortunately Cloud9, they're going to be throwing the nades for a fast Monster execute, which forces him to come back towards the pillar. So here, Refresh, he really wants to take a 1v1 duel. He really wants to open up this round for Cloud9, and he doesn't expect an AWP to be holding towards Monster, and he gives up the opening kill to Simple here. So just after this, Flusher, probably thinking there was only one AWP on the map, walks straight into Flamey's second AWP on the shorts area, and just like that, Na'Vi are into a 5 versus 3 scenario because of this unorthodox setup. As you saw on this round, Na'Vi decides to play 4 towards B from the start. So actually this isn't such a massive risk, because Electronic, who is the solo A player in this example, can just play a bit safer and fall back to the site on less contact and less information, and it's very unlikely he's going to give up a cheap entry kill to that terrorist side. So what you're giving up, in my opinion, in playing so many players towards the B side at the start of the round, is that a lot of the early round picking opportunities for the CT side come from that A area. So just think of Simple picking around that mid smoke. He gets a lot of opening kills for Na'Vi in these sorts of situations. So in this round it worked out for Na'Vi as CNI got caught and they gave those AWPs some opening picks, and Na'Vi just closed out the round from there. In this next round we're going to see the sort of executes that make playing less than 3 players towards that B side of the map a risk for the counter-terrorist side. What Cloud9 runs here is a very fast execute out of Monster for a mid-site smoke, heaven smoke, barrels molly, and a water molly, and there's also a connector smoke to cut off the rotates and help with the afterplant. So in this round, of the 2 B players of Flamey and Edward only managed to trade 1 for 1 and had to give up the site. And it was Electronic boosted in connector that gets another kill, but had the 3 A players been in a different setup away from connector, then I think this round pans out much worse for Na'Vi. So in this situation, it was actually really well played afterplant from Cloud9 here, and they managed to win it from a 3 versus 4 situation. Now I'm not sure if this was a great call from Cloud9, anticipating that their opponents would have low utility or a little bit of luck, but what could have really hurt Cloud9 there would have been an early monster molly from the CTs. This happens almost every round at the professional level when they have the utility, and it's just for this reason to play against these sorts of executes. So here Na'Vi, they didn't have perfect utility, but they still could have had Flamey molly it, but instead he chose to hold on to it. So in my opinion, if you're only going to play 2 players towards the B side at the start of the round, do not take the risk. Get that molly down, and it's probably best to smoke behind it and play a double monster setup with 1 player anti-flash. And then hopefully by the time that smoke fades, you have a pick, you have some information, and you can fall back into an informed or advantageous setup. Or perhaps you could be more committed to playing retake from the start of the round, but the worst case happened here as they got caught close up with no util and just got traded out and gave up so much map control. So we'll just quickly watch the next round, and remember on the last one, Na'Vi got punished for only playing 2 players towards that B site during the early round. So Zeus here, he's going to gamble that Cloud9 is not going to run the same round again, and he's going to call 3 players towards the A site during the early round. And you can guess what's going to happen here. Flusher calls exactly the same round again for Cloud9. So here, Flaming Edward, they're going to do their best by double nading, and they're almost going to kill Rush, but they're forced into playing retake, which is still a better situation compared to the previous round. So what you're going to see now is a really great retake coming out from Na'Vi here. And they managed to claw the round back from this poor situation. But again, with low util and no kits for the CT side, I think Cloud9 lost this retake more than Na'Vi won it. Moving on then, this round is going to seem a little bit mad, and considering this was played during the final of Blast Pro Lisbon, perhaps you would expect Na'Vi to play a little bit more standard or a little bit more cautiously, but this is just Na'Vi things that we're going to be seeing here. So this is also a bonus round, and they do not have perfect weaponry. They feel like they need to force some close fights and contest some map control instead of just playing passive and letting Astralis late execute into them, which on average Na'Vi would lose here because of the weaponry disadvantage, and I definitely agree with this philosophy. So they're going to play 4 players towards the B site early here, and they're going to send Simple to throw a T-stairs molly and then smoke in front of it. Then he's going to come straight back, and they're going to play 5 players on B for a short period during this round. So back on B, they're trying to force out some early sewers control. Electronic mollies the pipe, and Edward pre-smokes the short molly, which happens almost every round at the top level because the terrorists want to deny the CTs that early sewers control. So Zeus comes over here. He really wants to force out this map control, force some close fights, but unfortunately Astralis are going to push them back towards the site. So after giving up sewers control, Na'Vi, they're forced into a bit of a strange position, and they're not really sure what to do. But anyway, the call's going to come in, and they're going to commit to keeping 4 players towards the B side and just have 1 player being a rotator trying to get some information about what Astralis are doing. And next up, we're going to see a really great small decision coming out from Na'Vi as they decide to go for the sandbags boost in the mid round, and they're going to get a really nice opening kill onto Debris here and get themselves into a 5 versus 4 situation. But Astralis, they're going to quickly move into that A bomb site, and then Electronic's going to come out trying to slow them down a little, but it's going to go down, and Astralis are going to get the bomb down in a 4 versus 4 scenario. And crucially, with all that map control, they can move into some really great after plant positions and make it a really tough retake for Na'Vi to even attempt. And as we can see, in a 2 versus 4, they decide it's not worth continuing this. They're just going to fall into saving, and Astralis is going to take the round anyway. Regardless though, I do like the decision from Na'Vi to not just sit back and play a standard round and instead try and take some map control, try and force some close fights considering their weaponry disadvantage. Perhaps they could have actually executed taking that map control and trying to contest that map control a little better, but still I do like the idea. Finally then, let's get into this round from Na'Vi, and as you see they're now on map point in this game, and the call here is that they're going to play 4 players towards the A side of the map early, and to some people this is going to seem like a huge risk from Na'Vi, and it's probably looking like they're on the verge of throwing the map away, but I can assure you that there is method to the madness here. As we've already seen then, there are quite a few options for the terrorists to run some fast executes towards that B site, and with the A players pushed up like they are here, the rotates are not going to be very fast. When they're just playing with a solo retake B player as they are in this round, it's almost certainly going to be round over if Astralis went into a fast monster execute, for example. Flamey here, he's got a good mid spawn. He's going to take the AWP, he's going to use that spawn and take a fast mid peek next to Fountain towards T-stairs, and to help him out, Simple's going to throw a T-stairs molly here, which stops an AWPer just sitting on holding this angle, or perhaps even a rifle doing the same. So here, Dupree, actually on a good spawn, is going to get out in front of that stairs molly. And Flamey, he doesn't want to take the risk, so he's going to fall back towards the divider area. So Dupree is going to find the opening kill onto Electronic, and Astralis, they're going for some fast mid control. They've got the smokes down on divider and toilets. They're going to flash over and take the mid control away from Na'Vi. So actually Na'Vi, they're going to win this round, but it was all a bit messy and they could have played, in my opinion, a more coherent setup, and perhaps they were lacking some team play between Flamey and Electronic here, not knowing what each other was going to do. That's giving up quite a cheap entry onto the Terror side. Alright then, let's answer the question of why I like this call from Na'Vi. So at the start of the round, if you look at the money for Na'Vi here, it is not good at all, and there is some massive reset potential. And if they get full reset at this point in the map, this could give Astralis a route back into the game. And if you look at the util, they can't really play out a standard round here because they've got so few nades. So the idea behind the risk of going 4 towards A here is that if Astralis come A, we're going to win the round. Or if they go B, we're going to keep 4 or 5 players alive, save, and then play the next round on full nades. So what would have been really bad here would be for Na'Vi to lose the round with nobody or just one player alive. And considering their bye versus Astralis in this round, this probably is the most likely scenario to happen had they just played a standard round. So just to point out at the end of this one, I do think Na'Vi got a little unlucky with the rounds I've chosen. I think I'm portraying that they come out on the losing side of these gambles more than they actually do on average across a selection of games. But anyway, if you enjoyed that one you like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.